about Bell is if you look at their history in the airborne public safety space, you have to go back more than 70 years. And, Bell not only developed and fielded the world's first police helicopter and the world's first fire helicopter, we're still partnered with those same agencies today.
To echo what Terry said, and also Jeff, I think the important thing for people to realize as they're listening to this, Jeff said you thought you felt like maybe you're on an island and all the problems you had were isolated to that agency. And, we've said several times, this is just a universal struggle that it seems like everybody is having or has from time to time. And the only way to get forward and to deal with it and to get past it and survive is as a community and as a group. And I've reached out. Any success that I've had, it has come from the people I've reached out to. And I'm not particularly smart. I'm just smart enough to have enough good phone numbers in my phone and contacts to know somebody to call and somebody to call and get an answer to. And for anybody listening, know that this community is out here, and there's the 7 people here, and there's a lot of people available that it's just a phone call, and you're not the only one who's struggling with it. And then the other thing I think I need to remind myself in closing is, we talk about leadership, and it's real easy to fall down that rabbit hole of complaining about everyone else, and I have to look back and point the finger at myself. And I've got all these notes in front of me as things that I can do better at that, and I should do better, and I should try that. And just to know that one of these obstacles to better leadership in aviation might be me, and what things do I still have in place that I'm not doing well and can do better, and find a way to better serve my guys so they not only stay safe and do the job better, but enjoy it. Because as Clay said, this is an awesome job. There's no reason for this not to be fun and amazing. And tonight at that 50-year anniversary, I saw guys who have been flying from the 70s up to people who just got their pilot's license this morning.
Wow!
Congratulations, Justin Gould. And I saw the same conversation through the whole hangar, all different ages, everybody standing there talking with their hands, telling lies and war stories, and just talking about aviation, and smiles, big smiles across the whole thing, and for good reason. So I think it's incumbent on me as a leader to try and foster that as well. And I need to do a little bit of self-reflection and see what are the things that I'm doing, maybe not as well as I could be. So, but again, thank you guys for the forum and the ability for us all to talk together and remind everyone out there, we're all in this together.
Yeah, Terry brought up checking your ego. That statement alone tells me right there that you've done just that. You're constantly striving to be better, and that's huge. And then to what Jack said about, not just like complaining about something, but finding a solution to it. You spent 10 years at APSA as a safety manager, and that was something that you did. One, you have a passion for it, you're good at it, but you found something that needed some work, and you stepped in and made a big impact, and undoubtedly saved many lives as a result of your work.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Brian, for your
Brian.
efforts.
Absolutely the truth.
Yep.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Jack.
No,
See?
we're talking about
I
you.
didn't do anything.
You're amazing.
And self-depreciating humor goes a long way too.
I'm just trying to keep up with the company that I keep. That's all. Thank you, guys.
And I will thank you.
Thank you.
And Eric, sorry you're not forgotten again.
That's okay. I think obviously I have a huge amount of respect for what you guys have done. I've always been a John Gray fan from the second before you were in the unit, and I wanted you to be in the unit because you were one of those guys that if I had to describe you, I would just say he gets it. Like, it's that simple. He just gets it. I don't have to go into a lot of explanation. You were one of those guys that would just always kind of be able to absorb and go in the right direction. And I think it's ironic that you found Jeff, who was a neighbor, but now is halfway across the country. And you guys formed this relationship and have this passion to share this knowledge. It's amazing. So thank you for that. And once again, I'm humbled to have been on this panel with people that are way out of my league as far as I'm concerned. And it's not the first time I've been on a panel like this either. I've been on several, and I always end up looking around going, how did I get here? Who canceled? And they said, hey, we can get Widener to show up. He's always hanging around. Because it's just the amount of knowledge, institutional memory that exists here in this group of people is amazing, and it traverses the entire United States and the globe, because you've got these guys that have traveled all over the world talking to aviation units and police units and training people and guiding people and mentoring people, and it's humbling when you think of it in that framework. And the other thing that when Jeff said, I don't know if we answered the question, I don't think it's so much about the question as it is or the answer. He said, I don't know if we've answered it. And I don't think it's so much about the answer as it is asking the question. And I think that's the function of what you guys are doing. And sometimes it's bringing unique stories or perspectives to people that otherwise wouldn't be able to experience it. But in other cases, like today, I think it's just asking the question, because people it's going to generate all kinds of introspective thought and evaluation, not only based on what was said in the podcast, but just based on what people experience in their own everyday lives. So I think that's the other incredibly important part about what you're doing is it's not that you have to answer every question. It's more that you ask every question.
Yeah, that's huge. I think there's a lot of questions that are rhetorical in nature that we've talked about, right? There's no silver bullet for any of these things because so many agencies are different structurally. What might work for us in Ontario may not work for Texas DPS or Riverside PD or LAPD or Arizona DPS, just because of the way it's structured, it won't work. And that introspection is a big part of it too. I remember, well, first of all, going back to what you said, I think the only reason I got into air support was because I bugged you nonstop. Every time I saw Eric, I'm like a leech on his leg. Hey, when can I come up? And then I got selected as a part-time guy. Same thing. Hey, when can I come up as a full-time guy? And then I got a TFO spot. Hey, when can I be a pilot? Just nonstop. But, being introduced to air support under your leadership, my belief was that all aviation programs ran the way you ran our program, and all hangars were as clean as our hangar. I remember probably my second year in aviation, we flew to some other Southern California agency. I won't say who it was. We land and go in their hangar, and there's like tumbleweeds blown through their hangar. There's feral cats fighting in there. There's parts all over the place. And I'm like, what the hell is this? I'm not used to this. I'm used to being able to eat off the hangar floor. So I think that was
the first time
like,
John and I met, by the way. No, I'm just
Oh, that's great.
That's why we're always meowing on Bravo. But
that's right.
But yeah, I think that was the first time I realized, like, hey, what you've got going as far as your leadership style and everything else is not normal. And then again, through the podcast, we've learned that a lot of agencies are struggling with issues of leadership. And like Brian attested to with his survey, it's one of the top 4 problems that's being reported nationwide, if not worldwide. Brian, I know you've got a lot of international contacts, and you could probably attest to that. That's something you're seeing worldwide as well.
Yeah, you go into anywhere, Europe, South America, you get the same complaints, different accent. That's it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Same challenges. It's universal.
And we have noticed as we've started to expand, our interview base into Europe and Australia, the culture and experiences that we have in North America are very, very similar to the rest of the world. And, we're using the same equipment, the same tools. We share the same culture. So it's been really neat to kind of identify that and see that, hey, we're all doing the same things and get along so well. So it's fun to see that. And again, the leadership thing's I'm sure it's a worldwide issue. So Again, thank you guys for your.
Florida is like two different countries.
Especially now.
Yes. Thank you for your time. And before we sign out, I just want to have Jeff with his closing thoughts.
I just want to say thank you, gentlemen. Dan Fucher said it best in his interview when, we're standing on the shoulders of giants, and to be sitting here with the five of you who are really the giants in the industry, whether you want to admit it or not, is really humbling for John and I to have these discussions, to recapture what we discussed with Clay and Terry in Austin. I didn't think we were going to be able to do it. I mean, because it was just natural, but this is a natural conversation that we've just had. The reason why we didn't get through all the questions that we had, but I think we've covered most of the topics, is I think a testament to what you have done to lead our industry. Granted, our Brian's unit 50 years old, my old unit 50 years old a couple years ago. A lot of these agencies have been around a long time. So we're standing on those shoulders. You're standing on those shoulders. But it's not a matter of what started in 1972. It's a matter of what's going on now. And that's what we talked about. It's always constantly evolving. And so over time, we're going to hand off these reins. You're going to hand off these reins, Clay and Brian. The rest of us are now out of airborne law enforcement as a day-to-day job. But you're going to hand over those reins eventually. And that's what builds this industry. It's what you took over from somebody else. And we always want to make it better. And I think this is a way that we're going to continue to make this industry better. So thank you all for your time. Thank you for your friendship. John and I both just absolutely love having the opportunity to sit and talk with all of you individually over a beer or on a podcast. It's really uplifting and enlightening to hear what you have to say. So thank you for sharing it with everyone. On
a side note, Fooch just retired. His retirement ceremony is tomorrow at their hangar at SPSO. And so congratulations to him. Retired as lieutenant. The guy was, he could very well be a part of this panel. And if I could bring one person on, he would be the one I bring on. So
yeah, definitely.
Congratulations, Fooch.
Yeah, thanks. Congratulations.
Enjoy your retirement. And yeah. So until we meet up again, cheers, fellas. And thanks for joining us on the Hangar Z podcast.
Thank you all
guys.
very much.
All right,
Good
cheers.
seeing everybody.
Thanks, guys.